Hello students. Now I am going to teach you about the respiratory system. Clear? You know that every cell of a plant and animal or our own body requires water, energy for doing various activities. The muscle cells contract for movement, means this is the work done by the muscle cell. Brain cell also does the work. What? Yes, brain cells receive and send messages. Same things happen in plants also. In plant also, the root cell penetrate into the soil, absorb water, nutrients. Phloem present there in the plant cell, that also help in transportation of food from what? From the leaf to the different parts of the plant. So like this in plants and in animals, cells does many work. And for doing the work, they need what? Energy. Clear? So, means we get energy. How we get energy? We get energy from the process, or we can say that we get energy through the process called respiration. Clear? So, respiration is the process that help our body to get energy. So, we can define like this. Respiration is the process of releasing energy by breaking down food needed for various body activities. The breakdown of glucose occurs by utilizing oxygen. Clear? And how this oxygen comes in our body? When we breathe. Okay. So during this, the food is oxidized to release energy. So we breathe in which gas? Oxygen gas. And that oxygen gas helps in the oxidation of food. Clear? And when the oxidation of food occurs, then there is a release of energy, and that energy body utilizes for doing various activities. Now there are two types of respiration. First is aerobic respiration and second one is anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration means what? Means the respiration that occurs in the presence of oxygen. That is called as what? Aerobic respiration. And anaerobic respiration means the respiration that occurs in the absence of oxygen. That is called as what? Anaerobic respiration. Means we can say that the aerobic respiration utilizes oxygen, whereas anaerobic respiration does not utilizes oxygen. One more thing is very important about the aerobic and anaerobic. It is not given here, but you should know that food molecules completely break down. In which respiration? Aerobic respiration. Clear? Once again, in aerobic respiration, food molecules completely break down, whereas in anaerobic respiration, food molecules partially break down. This is the difference between the aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Another third difference is that carbon dioxide and water are formed in aerobic respiration. Clear? In aerobic respiration, what is formed? Carbon dioxide and water. Whereas in anaerobic respiration, ethanol and lactic acid with carbon dioxide and water formed. Okay? Means in aerobic respiration, only carbon dioxide and water formed, whereas in anaerobic respiration, with water and carbon dioxide, ethanol and lactic acid also formed. Ethanol formed in plants, whereas lactic acid formed in animals. Clear? Now, next we will study about the respiratory system in humans. So, in humans, the organs of the respiratory system include what? Nose, yes, nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi and the lungs. So, first we will discuss about the nose. Nose is the entry point of what? Nose is the entry point for air. It has two openings called nostrils. You all are well familiar with the nose. You all are well familiar with the structure of a nose. So each leading into what? Nasal chamber. So nose is the entry point for air and it has two openings, nostril, and each nostril leading into a nasal chamber. The nostril have a hair lining. Why hair lining? Why hair-like structure present there? Yes, you will write that to prevent dust particles from reaching into the lungs. So what is the function of hair present in the nostril? Yes, the function is to prevent dust particles from reaching into the lungs. The lining of nasal chamber has mucus. Mucus is what? Mucus is a sticky fluid which traps what? Germs and dust. Clear? The nasal chamber warms and moistens the air entering the lungs. One should always breathe through the nose and not through the mouth. The inner lining of nose also has some special cells for smell. So if the question is that why one should always breathe through the why one should always breathe through the nose, not through the mouth. So your answer will be what? That inside the nose means inside the nostril, hair-like structure present, and that hair-like structure prevent dust particles from reaching into the lungs. Second way, that lining of the nasal chamber has what? Mucus, and that also traps germs and dust. Third point, nasal chamber warms and moistens the air entering the lungs, and that is why one should always breathe through the nose and not through the mouth. So 3 points you got here, 3 reasons you got here. So whenever this type of question comes, you can learn point wise, you can write there point wise, and you can learn also. It will be very easy to learn. Next, after nose what comes? Pharynx. So from the nose, the air passes into where? Pharynx or throat, which is common passage for the air and the food. So the common passage for the air and the food is what? Your answer will be pharynx. Clear? And pharynx leads into the air tube called as what? Windpipe or trachea. Okay. So here you can see this is the mouth, this one is the nose. So nose is here, mouth it is here, and this part is what? This part is pharynx. So this is the common passage for the food and air. Okay. Now after pharynx, what is this here? Yes, we will study about the larynx. So at the entrance of the trachea, there is a voice box called as what? Larynx. Okay, so you can see here, this is the pharynx, then the voice box is here, and then trachea. So voice box or we can say larynx, where it is present? It is present at the entrance of what? Trachea. So larynx contains 2 ligamentous folds called vocal cords. So when you touch, when you speak, while speaking you touch your throat, you will find that something is vibrating. So the things that vibrate is what? Is vocal cords. Air expelled forcibly through the vocal cords vibrate them to produce what? Sound. So when we speak, then what happened? This throat starts vibrating, it produces sound. Okay. Now the front opening of the windpipe is guarded by a muscular flap called epiglottis. You can see here. Here this is epiglottis. Here also you can see epiglottis. Clear? So this is the front opening of what? Windpipe, and it is guarded by the front opening of the windpipe is guarded by a muscular flap that is called as epiglottis. The epiglottis closes the windpipe at the time of what? Swallowing the food. Incomplete closure by the epiglottis during swallowing the food causes what? Coughing as the food enters the windpipe. So as we eat, what happens? As we eat, the food comes here and goes to the esophagus. Clear? Goes to the esophagus, means the food pipe is there and windpipe is also here. So while eating, this epiglottis what? Closes this windpipe. Okay, so food easily go for the digestion. But while eating, when we speak, then what happens? There is an incomplete closure of this windpipe, and so food comes in this and we start coughing. So coughing while eating throws out what? The food wrongly entered into the windpipe. So that is the reaction of the body. That coughing is what? The reaction of the body that indicates that something went wrong. Something is going wrong. And what is going wrong? Yes, that while eating you should not speak. Okay. Now the next will be what? Yes, trachea. So next is the trachea. The trachea or the windpipe emerges from the larynx or voice box down below in the neck. It runs in the middle of the chest. You can see here, this is the trachea. Okay. So middle of the chest up to a short distance between the two lungs where it divides into two branches. You can see this is the trachea and it divides into two branches, and these two branches are called as what? Bronchi. The wall of the trachea is straightened by C-shaped ring of cartilage. You can see here C-shaped ring. It is present like spiral binding. You have seen, no? It is, yes, it is present like this only. So the wall of the trachea is straightened by C-shaped rings of cartilage. Why? What is the purpose of this C-shaped rings of cartilage? Yes, to prevent it from collapsing. Okay. So this is the function of what? This is the function of the C-shaped rings of cartilage present in the trachea. What is the function? To prevent it from collapsing. Okay. Now, like this you can prepare the question also. Now, the inner lining of the trachea, bronchi and bronchioles has ciliated epithelium. Which type of epithelium? Ciliated epithelium. Clear? Means cilia like, hair-like structures present there. The continuous movement of cilia pushes out the unwanted particles that may be present in the inhaled air. Next is bronchi, and the singular word of bronchi is bronchus. The two bronchi lead into right and left lungs respectively. Right and left lungs respectively. Okay. Then each bronchus is further divided into smaller and smaller branches called what? Bronchioles. You can see here the bronchus, the trachea divided into two, right and left, and then this bronchi is what? This bronchi again divided into many smaller branches, and these smaller branches are called as what? Bronchioles. And at the end of these bronchioles, microscopic air sac-like structures present there. You will see air sac-like structures present there, and these air sac-like structures are called as what? Alveoli. So each lung contains millions of alveoli, and the singular of alveoli is what? Alveolus. Clear? Alveolus. These are richly supplied with blood capillaries covering their walls. Their walls are extremely thin and moist for allowing faster diffusion of gases. Now next is lungs. The lungs are a pair of pink and spongy elastic organs protected by the rib cage. The left lung is what? Slightly smaller with two lobes. You can see here left lung and right lung. So left lung is slightly smaller with two lobes. Why the left lung is slightly smaller? Yes, to accommodate heart in between. Okay. And the right lung has three lobes. The lungs rest on a diaphragm. This is a muscular sheet which internally divides the body cavity into two cavities. Which one? Chest cavity or thoracic cavity, and the second one is abdominal cavity. So you can see this is the diagram of what? Diaphragm, and on this the lungs rest. Okay, and this diaphragm divides the body into two cavities. So from here to here it is what? Thoracic cavity, and below the diaphragm this is what? Abdominal cavity. The lungs are protected from outside by two membranes called as what? Outer and inner pleura. Pleura word, always remember, pleura word we use for lungs. So the lungs are protected from outside by two membranes called the outer and inner pleura, and the space between the two membranes is filled with a fluid. This fluid acts as a shock absorber and so protect lungs. So what is the function of this fluid or this membrane? The function of this fluid is what? To protect the lungs. Clear? To protect the lungs, to act as a shock absorber. Gaseous exchange in lungs. The air which reaches the alveoli through respiratory passage is rich in oxygen, and so diffusion of gases occurs through the blood capillaries surrounding the air sacs. The oxygen from the lungs diffuses into the blood and is picked up by what? Hemoglobin in the red blood cells. So hemoglobin present where? In the red blood cells. Like this question can come that hemoglobin is present in which type of blood cells? So hemoglobin is present in red blood cells. Carbon dioxide from the blood diffuses into the lungs and is exhaled out through the same passage. So this we know that we exhaled which gas? Carbon dioxide gas, and we inhaled which gas? Oxygen gas. Okay. Now phases in respiration. It occurs in three phases. First one, breathing. Second one, gaseous transport. And third one, cellular respiration. So first we will discuss about the breathing. Breathing is what? External respiration. Breathing is also called external respiration. And breathing is a physical process. It involves inhalation of air through the nostrils into the nasal cavity and finally into the lungs. And exhalation, the forcing out of air from the lungs. So what is inhalation? If the question is what is inhalation, what will you write? Yes, you will write drawing in of air through the nostril into the nasal chamber and finally into the lungs is called inhalation. And exhalation, the forcing out of air from the lungs is called as exhalation. Okay. Now, next is gaseous transport. Oxygen of the inhaled air is absorbed by the blood in the lungs where it combines with the hemoglobin present in the red blood cells. The oxygen is carried from the lungs to the body tissue or cells where the oxygen is utilized and carbon dioxide is released. The released carbon dioxide is transported back to the lungs for its removal. Clear? So this gaseous transport occurs. Means what? Means blood gives oxygen to the cell and from the cell blood takes which gas? Carbon dioxide gas and then transport it to the lungs and from the lungs it goes out of our body. Next is the cellular respiration. This is also called as internal respiration. It is the process of oxidation of glucose in the cell with the release of energy along with the carbon dioxide and water. Okay. So mechanism of breathing. Now here first let's discuss about the difference between the inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation means what? Inspiration and exhalation means what? Expiration. Clear? So in inhalation ribs move what? Upwards and outwards. Upward and outwards means what? Upwards means in upward direction and outward means yes, like this. It moves. Then whereas in exhalation ribs move what? Downward and inward. In inhalation diaphragm is pushed downward and flattens. Whereas in exhalation diaphragm moves upwards and become dome shape. Dome shape means like this. Clear? Curve. This is called the dome shape. In inhalation, volume of chest cavity increases. That is why if the volume of chest cavity will increase, then more and more air can be filled in the lungs. Clear? And in exhalation, volume of chest cavity what? Decreases. And as the volume of chest cavity decreases, the carbon dioxide is forced to move out of the lungs. In inhalation, lungs expand and air pressure becomes what? Low. And that is why air always moves from the higher to the lower. So from the surrounding, it moves inside the lungs. Clear? And whereas in exhalation, lung size reduces, air pressure becomes high. In inhalation, atmospheric air at higher pressure rushes into the lungs. Just now I have discussed. Whereas in exhalation, the air rushes out of the lungs as atmospheric air pressure is what? Lower. So air has a tendency to move from the high pressure to the low pressure. Clear? Now, the next question is that why do we sneeze? Yes. So this is very good question. So the answer will be what? When any foreign particles enter the nasal chamber, the sensitive mucous membrane gets irritated. And this results in sneezing, an involuntary action by which the irritant is removed. This is not the voluntary action. Voluntary action and involuntary action. What is voluntary action? The action which is in our control, that is called as what? Voluntary action. And the action which is not in our control, they are called as what? Involuntary action. Like beating of heart, then the movement of walls of digestive organ, they are not in our control. Okay. And voluntary action means that is in our control. For example, like when we want to move our leg, we can move. When we want to move our hand, we can move. So this is what? This is the voluntary action. Okay. Now, next is a mechanism of breathing. The physical process by which the air containing oxygen is drawn into the lungs and air containing carbon dioxide is forced out from the lungs is called breathing. Clear? So in one line, when you have to define what is breathing, then what? It is a complete process of, it is a complete process that involves exhalation and inhalation. Okay, breathing involves two steps. Yes, inhalation and exhalation. Clear? So in detail, I'll discuss in the next class. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you very much.